Okay. Going to go into training mode and hopefully teach you something, perhaps. Oh, the controller that I am using is wired by default. It is the Razer Wolverine V2 Chroma, which is the reason it's got all this fucking LEDs. Anyways, the menu pop up on its own. Yep. Reload. Self the ammo. Put these. So on the other side, I do have 4 paddles here. The front ones are way up at the top. You can kind of see the line right where my finger is on the left side. I have A, B, X, Y. I'm able to do all that, as well as I have 2 extra buttons up here, up and down on D-pad. Trigger is on the other side of that. Bumpers here. What do you want from me, Greg? Anyways, I'm able to control recoil pretty well because I paid attention to what it actually took. I will go from... I'm going to drop all these attachments on the ground. I guess I can keep the EQ. But no grips on a barrel, standing. I'm going to start at the wall. I'm going to just put a dot. And I'm going to put my crosshair right on the dot, give or take. And then I'm just going to hold the trigger without touching the stick. So the pattern is it goes straight up and then it curves and then it curves back. It does that. If I do it again, we'll do another dot, put it there, do it again. So as you can see, different. It's not identical. So it takes some getting used to of if you kind of just see that it is going up and slightly left. This one is up and slightly left, and then the variance popped in of it wants to go slightly back right. We do it again. That one's just almost completely straight up. So you have to react in time to knowing, just paying attention to it. What is your gun doing? Which way is it bouncing? Is it starting to bounce left, so you should pull back right? Or is it starting to bounce right? You need to pull back left. Obviously, it's going up, so we know what we can do to do that. It is shoot and then pull down on the stick. Shoot, and you just pull down the same rate that it's trying to climb. So if it's going up and you pull down, you can basically make it stop from climbing up. Then it becomes that left to right movement, canceling that out. Easiest way to do is crouch, crouch, shoot. I'll do it without touching the stick again. Versus not crouch, not touching the stick. Look how much further up the ceiling I actually made it. Like, I think I hit this. Yeah, here on that side. I didn't. I think I only made it to about there. I can see my bullet mark right there. It's about a foot difference, give or take. Obviously, that's at an angle. Can't really tell. But crouching is just far more stable. So if you shoot and then you pull down, like, that's all that is. It's just shoot and pull down. The easiest way that I've learned is the first bullet doesn't really go anywhere. Second bullet starts to go up. Third bullet starts to go up. As you can see, that's the fourth and then the fifth. It really starts to climb there. So if you, at the first bullet, start to pull down, not fully, but by the third bullet, you're pulled down to the same rate that it's trying to climb, which is what I like to call the sweet spot. You can make it so that way the gun doesn't really go up at all from the moment you start shooting. Let me get myself more ammo before I run out. You just pull, and then it becomes left to right jiggles to keep it centered. There is other methods at the same time that I actually utilize that changes things tremendously. A slight left to right on the stick, just a baby little bounce. If you make it go along with the pattern that the recoil is actually going, you can cancel recoil a lot better as well. Obviously, I was doing a lot more right than I was doing left there. And it becomes much easier to control than before. Also, I love to crouch lean. And for some reason, a slight walk backwards, literally a tiny walk backwards while you're crouched, so it's like this while shooting, just barely pulling back. Mind you, my sensitivities, they're pretty much all maxed. VSM at 55. All of my scopes are 20. If I shoot at this thing, my blood spread is all over the place. But if I shoot at this thing right here in front of me, it doesn't go anywhere. Versus that. But if I get closer, we'll just use this dot in the center of this thing. Easy. Tracking is the next biggest thing. Being able to move your sight with something. So we'll go over here. By the way, I lean by clicking in my sticks. Literally, my hands are on the top of the controller. I click in the sticks to lean. Now, some people play Type C, where you use your bumpers to do that. I don't. I don't, because that would require like playing claw, using pointer and middle finger on triggers. Fuck all that. No thank you. Not me. So tracking is the concept of being able to move your sight at the same rate that something is moving. So obviously tracking people is the biggest thing you would be doing. The other way you would do it is tracking vehicles. And it's the reason that I have my sensitivity so high is I don't want anything in the game to be able to outrun my sight. Because what's more annoying than tracking a vehicle and then going, fuck, it got away from me. Let me aim up here. Okay, there it is again. Oh, fuck. Now I gotta aim in again. Oh, fuck. I didn't hit anybody. Nope. No, thank you. I'd rather just be able to shoot and track. I'm not perfectly accurate like some people think I happen to be. Yes, there's a lot of things I do that make me more accurate than most, which is keep an object in the center of your screen while you're moving. Lean the direction it's going. If it goes back the other way, lean the other way. It'll make your life way easier for being able to stay with it. If you get the timing down perfect, like, there's nothing can run away from you. Also, another huge thing is, see a lot of people, they will see somebody running and they will ADS directly at them and then start walking their gun in front of them, trying to figure out what the lead is. Pay attention to the size of the target. So this guy, massive on my screen, versus that guy, versus that guy, versus, well, that guy's kind of the same as that one. Or the one all the way the fuck down there. If you pay attention to the size of that somebody is within your scope, you will start getting a really good judgment on distance, therefore knowing kind of where the lead is just by shooting. So now I kind of know where the lead is. And then it becomes not I'm trying to watch where the centers of my scope is. I'm watching if I start seeing tags, I'm keeping that person in the same side or the same part of the scope. I'm not readjusting on the fly of like, okay, is it here? Is it there? Is it there? Oh, as soon as I see a tag, I kind of use memory of where was the person inside of the scope when the tag actually happened. And then I work my way back to that point. So therefore I can just now at that range. Oh, out of ammo. Unlucky. You'll see me walk forward every once in a while when I try to open my map because the stupid button is up here. Shooting countless times with the same gun will give you way just better. What's the word that I'm looking for? Honestly, can't think of the word. Yeah, it's gone from the top of my head. GG's. Results. There you go. Jesus Christ. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Anyways. Constantly shooting the gun with the same attachments, you'll probably get way just used to it much faster. However, I recommend using all different types of combinations. Like a thumb grip comp on a barrel is one of my favorites. It's my go-to because I get a fast ADS. The comp just helps altogether. And then the thumb grip is actually getting rid of a little bit of that horizontal bounce left to right. That's all done with this gun. Now, if I was to use, let's say, let's just swap to an AK because I have the same ammo type. So obviously it doesn't get a grip, but I have a comp on it and still with the 2x. The recoil is going to be different, but once I figure out what it is when I go to shoot it, it's not hard to do. If I swap this out for a mutant, reload this, I'll put the thumb grip back on. I'm not even going to get attack stock. I can't even shoot it that fast with my normal pointer finger. I can kind of get it there. However, if I use my middle finger, and I'll show you, to figure out the fucking fire rate again. I haven't used this in a while. It's like whenever the second bullet fires is when you pull a trigger again. There's that gun. I go to ARs again. I pick out, let's say, a Groza, another one that uses 7.62, and I shoot it. Doesn't go anywhere. If I swap over to SLR, if I say fuck the SLR, DMR, and go for a MK14, need more ammo. Reload this. I can shoot that too. If I go all the way off the wall, use another DMR, the VSS should have, let me swap the cheek pad over from that, and then open this and go add ammo. Reload this. You can kind of see I overpulled because I was just using high recoil. But now that I know where I need to actually pull for the recoil to stop, it's not that hard to do. If I fucking around and do SMG, we'll do a Bison. Reload this. You can use whatever gun if you just understand that each gun has a sweet spot you pull down to. It isn't about, you don't have to put countless hours in a very specific gun every time. Each gun is relatively easy. It is just you pull down until the recoil stops. Just note that the more you push in a direction, left or right, while spinning like this with the sight, the less you actually have to pull down, because it becomes more of you're pushing the gun in a direction, which overpowers what the recoil actually wants to do. So if you shoot and just push it straight left, it's barely climbing, but that's also because I'm slightly pushing up and left. I can't push directly left to right very easy. Wait until it's about left to right perfectly and then just shoot. Still climbs, but as you can tell, it climbs way slower than that. It is literally less recoil if you're pushing it in a direction. So if I just go like this to this, do one bullet left, headshot. Okay, 14. Oh, wasn't pulling enough. There. Figured it out. A lot of what I do is just barely pushing the stick in a direction while pulling to the same recoil spot. Because you can do it very smooth where it's you pull it and then you'll just get used to it. Feel the gun. Change your sensitivities to where you can actually feel the recoil, like you making a difference. You can actually, obviously there's no haptic feedback. You can't feel it perfectly, but once you change and fuck around with your VSM versus what your actual sensitivity is per scope, you will find that sweet spot that I'm talking about, where you pull and you just hold there. It is not a pull and just try to find where is it at. No, it is pull to that spot. Pull to that spot. It is just muscle memory of pulling to the exact same thing every single time you shoot. And as you slow transition at the very beginning, and then it kind of speeds up based on what the gun is. If it's a gun with a really high fire rate, it's going to climb faster than if it's a gun with a slow fire rate. For instance, AK, easiest gun in the world to shoot. M4, probably the second easiest gun in the world to shoot. It does climb a little bit more every once in a while, like versus M4 versus K2. Which one climbs faster? Definitely K2. Because it's weird, like it ramps up and then it becomes constant, versus the M4 is just kind of constant from the get-go. There's different ways that each gun shoots in this game. You just have to pay attention to what you need to do to cancel out the recoil. It just takes time. It's as simple as that. I've literally have played this game since the very first season, and that's all it is just paying attention to the actual recoil pattern of each gun. Each of them kind of just go up and left. If you pull down and right, ever so slightly to the right, and hold right there at that very point, it won't go anywhere. You get to the point that these stats to me are nothing. Like, I used to actually be far better back in, I don't know, season 12. Ranked, I think it was when it was insane. 7.8 or 7.58 a KD. 8.0 the last 10 that I actually played of that season. Versus, what did I play last season? I think 22. It's different now. People play differently now. It is TPP literally everything. These KDs are, to me, mediocre in comparison to a lot of the other comp players that actually play competitively. There's some players, and it's always dependent on team. Those high KDs come from how well does your team actually play together. If you're playing with pure randoms the entire time and you are maintaining a 2.5 KD, you're not bad. However, me playing with randoms the entire time, I can maintain a 5 KD. It is what it is. But those are just stats that basically showcase how much effort have you put into this game / how many hours have you put into. Just pay attention to the recoil control. It's that simple. Once you get that down, then you realize that you don't have to worry about your shooting anymore. You're going to be completely confident in your shot, and you're going to take fights differently. After that, then you start learning, how do I push into compounds? Which angle am I going to push from which side wins the fight more often than not. And then you will start seeing the great improvements to your KD. But until then, just work on the recoil control. But I'm gonna head out. GG's.